Hello and welcome back to Higher Sense with Haz. And today's exclusive new review is going to be on Sospiro's new release, Il Padrino. Il Padrino by Sospiro Parfums is a brand new release released in April of 2025. So here at Higher Sense, we're managing to bring an exclusive fragrance to you. And this has been described as an oriental woody fragrance. So let's go on to see if this is worth the hype. Il Padrino interprets as the Godfather. So that piqued my interest immediately. Obviously, the movies are classics, and the notes in this definitely piqued my interest. As soon as I read that it contained rum and amaretto, then I was in. So let's have a look at the bottle. Here's the bottle. I believe it's a maroon red and it's a velvet texture, which is very unusual. I love it personally. A nice gold plaque on the front there, which has got the name of the fragrance and the house. And it's also got the house on the cap there. And it's a very interesting looking cap. Almost looks like a gold Batman, doesn't it?
I'm Batman.
But yes, the cap clicks on. Well, it sits on. I think clicks on may be inaccurate, but it sits on the top. It's snug. It's not coming off. It's quite weighty. And then on the top again, you've got the branding on there. Taking the lid off, I just caught a cheeky little whiff of what's inside, having worn this for a few days now. This fragrance is 100 millilitres and it comes in on Sospiro's website, which is the only place I could find it with it being a new release. And with the conversion rate, it's approximately £250, which is £2.50 per millilitre. Now for niche perfumery, that's fairly standard. It's not on the top end, but neither is it on the lower end. It's a standard price. And what you'll go on to find out is that I think that value for money is a good investment. So let's check the atomizer out. Atomizer check, pass. Let's give it a blast on the hand. And we're doing 2 sprays because I want to give it the full experience again. Right, so yeah, 2 sprays certainly get you the full gambit of what's in here. I'll go through the notes with you before I describe exactly what I think of this now. So hopefully the notes will be on your screen now, and I'll go on to describe what's in here. So in the top, we've got the amaretto and rum, which is fantastic. Exactly what I do like in a more evening social kind of fragrance. And that's coupled with blackcurrant and bergamot. Then in the mid, we'll go through the sandalwood, amber and patchouli. Nice classic combination. And then in the base, we've got the benzoin, the vanilla and the labdanum. So you've got 4 in the top, 3 in the mid and 3 in the base. A nice balance of notes, but does it work here? Having let this air out for a few seconds now, we will just go back in. Not having to go very far because it's very potent. And for me, you get the rum, you get a touch of amaretto, and you get blackcurrant. Now the blackcurrant is quite strong in this, and it couples with the amaretto particularly well, and also with the alcohol in the rum. And the bergamot just gives it a little bit of glitz, a little bit of spritz on the top. So it's almost like a slightly fizzy liqueur, so to speak. But yeah, the combination of them 4 notes for me, it's very tantalizing, it's juicy, it's a bit seductive. When I smell this, I just think, wow, what an opening this is. And it made us think, I hope this carries through for the rest of the fragrance. And if it does, we could have something a bit special on our hands. Now, these top notes certainly stay with the fragrance throughout, but it does change slightly on its journey through. So in the mid, we've got sandalwood, amber and the patchouli. Now the amber brings a lovely warmth to the top notes. So you've got fruits in the top, you've got some boozy notes in the top, and now you've got the warmth of the amber. And that for me just makes it feel more like a kind of an evening kind of scent. a social kind of scent. In the mid, you've got some sandalwood and you've got some patchouli. Now, the patchouli provides the earth notes, as we know, and the sandalwood in here, it does take the edge off the booze a bit. So it's not like a screechy booze. It's not like a kind of, a brash kind of booze. It's almost like it's kind of being, not brewed very well, but matured well, like a kind of cask maturation. So it's smooth. That's the word I'm looking for. The sandalwood smooths the booze. It takes the alcoholic edge off it, and it just gives it a nice woody undertone, which is always appreciated in these darker, longer lasting kind of fragrances. And yeah, the patchouli adds the earth notes, adds the darkness, and when coupled with the amber, which is very warming, it gives these top notes another dimension. It helps them to develop. So it's not just a case of there's the smell of the initial spray and that's what you've got. The mid notes and the undertones do seep through this. And I think seep is a good way to describe it. If you can imagine, you've got your rum or your amaretto and, you've got your fruity touch in there, but then you've got an ice cube or two and it's in your hand, it's getting slightly warmed, and that helps to open it up. It helps to bring the notes to your nose, gives a nice aroma. I think this gives off a very pleasant, nice, warm, fruity aroma, and that helps this to develop. I think it's a wonderful concoction. We'll have a look at the base notes and see if this carries all the way through. In the base, you've got your benzoin, your vanilla, and your labdanum. The benzoin, again, it's a warm note. It couples very well with the vanilla that's in here, and it adds to the top notes, which by now have calmed down and come through the mid. They're still very apparent, but again, it gives them a slight twist. It means that the fragrance isn't totally linear. It helps it to develop, and it gives it, again, another little interesting nuance, something which your nose picks up on as you're enjoying the fragrance throughout your evening socials. And then you've got the labdanum, which is reminiscent of a kind of a leather kind of undertone that again goes well with the amber and the benzoin. And it's quite a warm note, and it's a masculine element which goes well with the other notes that are in here. And when you've got them all combined, when everything's in play at around the 3 to 4 hour mark, I just think overall it gives this a scent profile which not only is quite unique, I think it's very alluring, it's intriguing, and when I wore it, every time I caught a whiff of this, not only did it bring a smile to my face, but I felt very fulfilled. I thought, yeah, I've paid good money for a fragrance here, but it's delivering. It's delivering on its promise in the notes and the advertisement that I've seen for it. And Il Padrino, meaning the Godfather, I thought, I tell you what, if it's based anything like that character, it's got a hell of a lot to live up to. And I was skeptical. I thought, can Sospiro deliver? I've never reviewed a Sospiro before. Heck, I've never even tried a Sospiro before, which I hate to say. So yeah, I had somewhat high hopes, but this has surpassed everything I thought imaginable of this fragrance. And I'm quite overwhelmed, to be honest. It's always nice to find a fragrance that you think those notes match your personality and what you want in a fragrance, but for it to actually deliver, and not only deliver, but deliver in spades, then for me, it just gave me a sense of achievement and a sense of, trust well placed, which goes a long way these days. Once I'd worn this fragrance a couple of times, every time I'd wore it throughout the life of the fragrance, at no point was I disappointed. At no point was I thinking, well, I wish this changed, or I wish that came in, or maybe this could have been a bit stronger. At every stage of this fragrance, I just thought, what a gorgeous, enjoyable, strong, powerful, masculine fragrance this is. And in the right circumstances, I think it's absolutely perfect. Now, I wore this to a 70th birthday party, which you might think, well, I didn't see the Godfather going to many 70th birthday parties. No, but, he went to important social gatherings, and this was one of them. So I thought, right, I'm going to wear this. and I'm going to see what reaction I get. And to be honest, I got a lot of positive reaction. I think it went down well. I felt that I wore it well with the attire, and in the circumstances it went appropriately, let's say. And yeah, it was strong, it lasted, I got some compliments, and then at the end of the night I went home and thought I made a great choice of fragrance. So yes, having got carried away with the fragrance, I forgot to tell you its composition. This is a 100ml bottle, and it's a eau de parfum apparently, which I find quite interesting when it's 64% volume, which means it's 36% oil. So that tells me that it's not only a parfum, but, an extrait de parfum, and it's certainly got a high level of oil, which will be great for longevity. So they've put it as an eau de parfum. I believe it's much more of a parfum, especially after wearing it. Now, looking at the projection on this, it projects decently. I'd say 2.5 feet, which for the concentration of oil is good. It's decent, it's solid, because some parfums and extracts, you may only get 2 feet. This pushes a little bit further, but I think that's helped not only by the note profile, but also by the kind of the warm elements of this fragrance. And when I wear it, certainly because I run quite hot, it lifts and it booms off my skin, to be honest. It's not a massive projector, but it'll get you noticed. And on me, the sillage was very good. The scent bubble that was around us when I was sat, when I was moving, when I was on that dance floor and, busting some moves and stuff, then, certainly, this will move off you and other people will notice. So projection, decent. Now the longevity on this, it was an eau de parfum, didn't know how it would perform. And I must admit, I didn't look at the oil concentration before I'd wore it. Now, when I first wore it, performance for me was a solid 8 to 10 hours. Probably pushing more up towards the 9-10 hour mark of good solid performance. I mean, so far as a skin scent after that, Craigie, I woke up the next day and it was still quite apparent on my skin there. It wasn't going anywhere. But for me, solid performance, yeah. I'm happy to say this is over 8 hours and probably towards the 10 hour mark, which, for an eau de parfum is great. For a parfum or extrait parfum, is still good by today's standards, because most fragrances don't get there anymore. So yeah, longevity on this, very good. And that's also helping the recommendation for this, because you can use it in a lot of different circumstances. It'll get through a full working day if you wanted to wear it for that. It will get through a full day out. Whether it's evening socials, get through that, not a problem. Day then evening socials, you're still covered by this. Now I'll go on to explain where I would wear this. Now for me, because of the notes that's in here, and certainly the scent profile and how it performs when I wore it, I think this would be ideal for business meetings, black tie events, and evening socials, or, things of professional importance. I don't think this is necessarily playful. Neither do I think it's appropriate for, if you're going on the beach or it's a lovely sunny day and you're out having some cocktails. You can wear it at lighter sprays if you just want to smell good. But for me, I think this is suit and tie worthy. It's where a person is important, professional, wants to set an example, wants to command some respect.
Good.
I think that this certainly gives off that kind of vibe. Seasons to wear this fragrance. I think autumn and winter are ideal because of the scent profile. Could you wear this in spring and summer? Not really. I think the only time that you could wear this would be for evening socials. And by evening socials, I mean 8, 9 p.m. plus. When it's coming in dark, when the temperature's coming down, then you can wear this at lighter sprays. So talking about the projection and longevity for this fragrance, I would say it's a strong, deep, powerful fragrance. So you don't need that many sprays of this. I would say 3 or 4 sprays is enough. If you're wanting it to go all day, you can do 5 or 6 sprays if you're particularly confident and want to get noticed. But 3 or 4 sprays, I'll get you the projection and longevity that you need. Not a problem at all. So moving into the dry down for Il Padrino by Sospiro. Is this a fragrance I would recommend you get your nose on? Well, if you can't already tell by now, then you've skipped over the review. Because for me, not only is this a fantastic release, but I would say it's elevated certainly into the top echelons of me fragrance collection. I think the note profile is brilliant. The performance is excellent. The price is quite good as well for a niche fragrance. £2.50ml isn't that bad. And for the strength of it, you don't need many sprays, so it is going to last you quite a long time. Now, I've had a few people asking us about this, with it being brand new, and I'm going to send a couple of them a little decant of this just to get the nose on, give them a little teaser and see what they could have won. But hopefully they'll enjoy it. Friends of mine who, you know, deserve to test these kinds of fragrances, especially when it's their kind of thing and they're dead excited about it, as I was. I can't really speak any higher of it. I think it ticks all of the boxes. And to be fair, I think it does get the higher sense seal of approval. It has to. I mean, I just can't mark it down for anything. I don't see any weaknesses in this fragrance. It's got everything I want it to have. It does everything I need it to do. And the actual scent itself, it's absolutely encapsulating. It's mesmerizing for me. It kept my attention all the way through the fragrance. It made us feel not only good, but it made us feel confident, happy, all around. I just think this lends to the wearer and the situation. I just think it lifts you up to the next level, to be honest. It lifts you up to that higher level. And that's what I want in a fragrance. I want something to be a bit special. I want it so when I smell it, when I take it in, it just hits those parts of my brain, you know, and it gives us that dopamine hit and it makes us think, wow, what a fragrance this is. The perfumer's done fantastically here. And he should be rewarded for his work. And by that, some people may say, $2.50 for 100ml, that's quite expensive. Yeah, maybe it is. But at the end of the day, I'd rather have one of these than 10 decent fragrances at £100 each that I wear and I think, okay, that smells nice, it's pleasant, but that's it, it makes you smell decent. This will make you smell great. This will make you feel like the boss that it is. It is the Godfather, and it does live up to that. And what I'm going to tell you is, get your hands on this, buy a bottle of it now, because for me, Il Padrino by Sospiro, it's an offer that you can't refuse.